Hey there, folks. It's me, Isaac, the guy who says the thing. We do that.
Okay, and I'm Claire, and I'm finally going to destroy Ganon.
And this is
Make That Game, where we pitch the latest,
the greatest
new video game ideas
that won't ever get made.
Yeah, they won't, but maybe they will if someone out there wants to.
Yeah,
call us up.
It's our title is a call to action.
Yeah, but also don't call us because we're not going to answer the phone.
Yeah, hopefully you don't know our number.
Yeah,
honestly.
But if you do, you should text us instead.
Yeah,
well,
please.
Some of our listeners definitely know.
Some of our listeners do, but like in a general sense, like it's not public information.
No.
Like we don't have a public phone number, like a Google Voice number for them to call and leave messages on.
We would not do that. We don't like the phone.
No.
But this is not a game. It's a podcast, and
That's
it's not
true.
a podcast about the phone. So
wait, it's not?
No, it's a podcast about video games.
All right. Well, can we edit in the sound of paper scattering there?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
So there goes all my notes.
Perfect. Yeah. So, like we said, we pitch games to each other. Games we've thought of probably really seriously. Probably put a lot of thought and energy into them.
That's what we do here.
Yeah, and we're going to tell each other those games. So, Isaac, do you have a game idea to tell to me?
Yeah. Do you know that feeling when you like do spend a lot of time thinking about something and you're like hyped for it? Well, maybe hype is not a descriptor for what I'm talking about here, but like, you know, you do think it through and you think you've got it covered, and then it comes time for you to share it and you notice a big glaring flaw.
Yeah, I think I've been there.
Yeah. So I'm kind of feeling that in the last moments before go time here, and I don't have time to recover. So the idea that I had come up with was a little background context. There's a game called Chrono Trigger for the Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm. I've heard of this.
It is a classic JRPG, Japanese RPG. And its unique thing is that the battles that you had took place on a map. Like until that point, normally you'd be running around on the map, and then like the screen would fade away, and then you would be in a separate battle screen, and it would be completely different. But this, like, you would be running on the map, you'd see an enemy, and then when the battle started, like, the enemies would run to set positions, and then your party would run split up from, like, where you were walking into set positions on the field, and then you'd, like, fight them in the actual room that you were in. So it didn't transition to a new screen, it didn't have a new view. It basically put people in position, and it gave you like the attack, magic, item commands and stuff. That was pretty, I don't know. I guess it's immersive. It's more immersive to not have that like harsh transition from like one game mode to a completely different
just to make sure
mode.
I'm thinking of this right. It's like kind of the before this game, like the way the traditional way to do it is kind of like the Pokemon way, where you're like walking in the field and then you hit an enemy and then it's like suddenly a brand new screen that's like completely
that's
different.
like unrelated, that's irrelevant. And did Arceus even have this problem, like where it just had a generic background and it didn't actually show you like literally where you were?
No, Arceus was literally where you were.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Okay
because I feel like there were some glitches about that, like if you're like just slightly off of something, then like the Pokemon in the battle would like merge with a rock or something.
Oh, okay. All right. So see, now it took that long for Arceus for the Pokemon series to catch up to a Super Nintendo game. Anyways,
sorry, I was thinking about Scarlet Violet, not Arceus, for the glitches.
Oh, that's true. Scarlet
Arceus
Violet
was not
also
glitchy. I mean, it probably had its glitches, but it was not quite as glitchy as. Anyway, continue. I just wanted to. No one email us that we were wrong. I got it. I figured it out.
My game idea was basically, Chrono Trigger, but with like action instead of turn-based RPG. Like, let's just fight the enemies, and like it's obvious that that's just how action games work. It's not like a unique feature. And like in my head, I was thinking like, there's like a goblin on screen and you run up and you hit it. And then like this is something Chrono Trigger would do a lot. Like you encounter one goblin, and then like when the battle starts, like a bunch of bigger guys like come in from off screen and like sort of ambush you. It's like, oh, you fell for the bait. And like that's like the general idea is that there would be like fights like that. Like sometimes it would just be, oh, there's 3 goblins on the screen, and you run up and you hit one, and then you fight the 3 goblins. But like the game I'm imagining is like Link's Awakening gameplay style.
Okay.
So now, like, that's just how Link's Awakening works. Like, you do just fight the enemies, like, on the screen that you're on.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, sometimes there are ambushes, but, like you'll walk into a screen, and then, like, new enemies will spawn or something once you do, like, a certain thing. So, yeah, like the... I've got a unique feature here was completely flawed from the premise, and I don't know how I didn't pick that out until we got here sitting down. And so that's here's a little mini discussion. Like, it's easy to get caught up in an idea, right? And not completely 100% think it through. It's very easy, and so it's good to voice these things out. That's my game design tip.
I would also say, and this is based on going to film school, but I think it's relevant advice. It's like, do take people's advice that you trust, and it doesn't mean that everybody's critique is worth it, right? Like you have to be able to filter it. That's part of being the creator, the developer yourself, is being able to say what's good critique and what's not, what I'm not going to take. But like, if multiple people tell you the same thing, you probably should address that thing.
Yeah. Imagine I share this to my friends. I'm trying to develop a game, and I come up with this idea, and I'm like talking to a group of my friends, and I'm excited about it. And like all of them are like, hold on a second. That's how it works. And I'm like, no. It's different. You don't understand. My vision is different. And maybe you're just not understanding it, but my vision is different. And like that's That's the narcissist trap.
Guess. I mean, it is. I think it's also just like when you spend a lot of time alone with an idea.
It's your little baby.
It's your baby, and you also kind of get blinders to the flaws, which, like you said, is why it's important to talk about them out loud. And I mean, you can even find meetup groups to share your ideas with. That's where we just came from today.
Oh yeah, we went to a media makers group.
Yes,
and we found out that it used to be like a whole thing, like a worldwide thing.
Yeah,
and ours is like the last one.
I should know that.
The last holdout.
Because they tell the story every year, and I've been to this multiple times.
I don't think he mentioned last year.
I don't think they mentioned it. I think they always mention the Boston one because that's like was what initiated this one. But anyway, that's beside the point. I did want to say I think there's a time, not time. I think there's a way that you could make this make sense, because the way that Link's Awakening is, where, you know, like you said, you battle on the map.
Yeah.
Unless you're in a dungeon, it's pretty superficial battling. So I think you could probably make it more interesting battling on the map during like casual play, I guess.
So
does that make sense?
What do you mean?
Basically, so when you're in a dungeon and you meet like the bosses of the dungeon, usually they have like a mini boss and then a bigger boss.
Yeah.
Those feel, I mean, you are fighting them on the map, but they feel very like fighty, right?
They're
like
staged. They
have patterns. They have all these things that you have to. Like,
there's more to it than just walk up, press B.
And so that feels more like I mean, it isn't, but you know, it feels more like the setup of like, okay, I've like entered a battle in a Pokemon, right? And so like, because we're going to do this thing, this prescribed thing. Whereas when you're walking around the map, just like walking around, and even in early parts of dungeons, there's just like a guy and you just stab him. So I'm saying that like you could do these like more frequent, more interesting on-map combats during just general gameplay versus like just in the boss levels.
Yeah, like take away like filler combat. Like don't have combat to just have something to do in a room. Like either have something to do in every room or have bigger set piece battles with more relevant enemies. And like the actual gameplay of this game, I was thinking of like combo moves and stuff, like basically generic action game fare. Like, you know, you can chain 2 punches and a kick together, or if you attack 3 times, the third one will be a bigger attack, and like you can unlock new combo techniques and stuff, like all like the stuff, the boilerplate you expect this out of like this style of action game stuff. It was all that, and then I was like, yes, but then like Chrono Trigger, it will do the special battles, and then I'm about to say it and I go, oh yes, but the special battles are nothing. That's nothing. It doesn't make any sense. Like it's incoherent.
Well,
so
I tried to save it, but
yeah. I mean, your point that like, oh, it could be like if the game is just Legend of Zelda, like you could still make it have better combat. Yeah, no, that's a good idea. Yeah, the combat, one could say, is lacking in such a game as Link's Awakening. Yeah, but yeah, that's my game idea. I'm sorry, both listeners and co-host that.
No, I did. It's a good discussion.
Yeah. What's your game idea?
My game idea is, I would say a unpacking like.
Oh.
So the game Unpacking.
Or an unpacking light.
It might be an unpacking light. You're right. You're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there we go.
Listeners, you decide. So for those who don't know, Unpacking is a game, I think best played on PC because it's very mouse. Using a mouse is nice for it, but it is on many platforms where you unpack boxes of people as like the main character moves. There's no like, you never see the character. You just kind of learn about their life through the objects you unpack, and you have to find places to sort them. It's a very like cozy kind of Zen type game. So this is also, it's based on that, and it's also based on an episode of Hilda.
Oh, the ghost episode?
I don't think it's is it the ghost? Is it a ghost or is it?
Frida.
Yeah.
She wakes up every morning and her room's clean, and she just thinks that's how it exists. And yeah, it's because a ghost. Yeah.
So there's a ghost in this episode. Spoilers for Hilda.
Spoiler alert.
Hilda, the adorable kids show on Netflix.
With music by Grimes.
Really? I didn't. Oh yeah, no, I did know that.
Yeah. It was a big advertisement point. They heavily advertised it, or did at the beginning of every episode. Yeah.
So in this episode, just because like to understand my game, you got to understand. So this girl would go to bed. She thought that everyone's house, just like everyone's room, just got clean overnight. Like that was just a regular thing. But it turns out she actually had a ghost who was cleaning her room for her overnight. So in my game, you're the ghost.
Yes.
If you couldn't see this coming.
And no, that's actually just literally spoiler for the episode. Yeah. It's probably irrelevant to your game, so I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep talking about your game. Ignore me.
Basically, the game is just like you are a ghost, and your job is to clean up after like a child.
Okay.
But it's very similar to Unpacking in the like story sense. So like, I mean, you have to put away their stuff, so you're gonna have to find places for it. And as the child gets older, it gets more difficult and more difficult to like.
Because they get dirtier and dirtier.
Right. They're gonna get sloppier and sloppier. They're gonna have more stuff. They're gonna have different interests. They may like, and you also have to make, I think, decisions about like, okay, so what if they have a fight with like a significant other? Like, do you hang that picture back up after they throw it in the trash, or do you like throw it out with the garbage?
Is it only environmental storytelling though? Like, like in that you don't get any context for anything outside. Okay, so like you see the significant other's picture in the trash.
Yeah.
What do you do with that? Do you put it back in its place, or do you ghost zone it?
Exactly.
Okay. Exactly. I like that. I like that.
So, and that will impact.
Kid comes home with some droogs.
Yeah. And I think that I do want this to be, because I wasn't sure. I hadn't actually finished Unpacking when I watched the speedrun of it. But it is like the same game every time. Like I thought that the objects that you placed in certain places would like affect the game, but it doesn't seem to.
Oh.
Like, if I put the soccer ball out, then like there'll be a soccer player, but if I put the drawing pad out, there'll be a drawer. But that doesn't.
Okay, but you want this game to actually have that.
to have a lot more decision trees.
Okay.
So like where the ghost decides to like put certain objects, or what objects stay in the room, because obviously the ghost is gonna have to throw some stuff away, get rid of some stuff, and that's gonna be allowed too, which is again another variation from Unpack. That's why I think it's a light, because like Unpacking also, as far as I know, doesn't let you throw things away.
I actually think that this is an Unpacking like. It seems like an evolution of Unpacking. Like it seems like an Unpacking more.
And also it will be timed, maybe.
Well, yeah, obviously,
because the kid has to wake up.
Exactly. You only have a certain amount of hours, and also there could be a semi-stealth aspect if you wanted to, where some nights the kid might either come home late so you have less time, or because they're out at a party because you've encouraged that behavior, or like they might like wake up in the middle of the night and go get water and like you have to hide out.
Well, I don't know, because I do see this as like, I don't know if you see yourself playing this game. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're just like God's eye view, like clicking stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of what I imagine.
There's no like avatar in the okay.
But I do I do think the time changing, like as you get to be a teenager, like the time would just be shorter because teenagers tend to sleep less. They're going out.
Yeah.
Maybe the kids snuck out, and so like they're coming back at like 4 a.m. and you have like 2 hours to get this room clean.
Yeah. Speed clean.
Yeah. So that's the game.
I like it. Oh, did you give a name?
Nope. Oh no.
I didn't give a name for mine either.
It's
so it names. Come on, I don't believe in names for games anymore.
Name shmame.
Yeah, all games should just
It should just be descriptor and then game.
Yes. Ghost that cleans rooms game.
Yeah, exactly. And yours would be battle on the map game.
Yeah. Battle on the map game. Uh-huh. Exactly. That's what we're talking about here,
folks.
That's what
we're going for.
All right. Cool. So we just pitched games.
We did.
We have another segment,
we do.
Which is we talk about games.
Yeah.
Usually design aspects.
As much as we can.
And I believe that you have something.
I do.
A topic to broach.
It might be a discussion light. But
okay. Well, I mean, I already did a discussion light earlier.
Yeah, so it's like two lights make a full.
No, two lights make a wrong. Wait.
It's two wrongs make a right is the saying.
Oh, dang it. Two lights make a long. Cause it's two smaller ones and it fills the length that we would normally. Yeah.
Okay.
I got there.
Mm-hmm, you did. So I started playing Tears of the Kingdom again.
Okay. It's that game that your resolution was to beat.
Right. And I'm really close to it. So I was like, I'm going to start again. I'm going to ramp up. I'm going to actually do it. And I was nervous because I haven't played it in so long. Like
since
I have not
January.
I don't even think I played it in January. I think it's like since 2023.
Oh boy. And in January you were like, I'm going to beat this game this year.
Right. Well, I still have months to go. Yeah. So come on. But I mean, it's been easily 6 months since I played this game. So I was nervous because I've mostly been playing Kirby. I've been playing, that's pretty much it actually in the past couple. The Cosmic
game.
Witch Sisterhood. Yeah. Which is more of a story game. So definitely different controls there. And I was nervous that I wouldn't remember how to play. And that even though I had a lot of these buffs and I had a lot of things collected and I'm like really high level in the game, I would just not be able to play it anymore.
Right.
And I was pleasantly surprised that it came back to me pretty quick. And I was rocking and rolling pretty early on.
Okay.
And so I thought we could talk about the design elements that make a game kind of like riding a bike versus being stressed out. And also how they could make it easier. Because one thing I was a little, I wouldn't say disappointed, but like obviously there were some things I forgot. And I basically just found some enemies and kind of went for it to kind of practice, like remember how to do things.
Oh yeah.
Like the hardest one was remembering how to fire my bow. I like couldn't figure that out for a while. And then remembering how to attach stuff to it because that's a big mechanic in that game. But it came back pretty quick, and like honestly, the muscle memory kicked in pretty early, which I didn't even expect to have muscle memory for it, which was really cool. So, but I would have liked maybe if there was like a training room kind of situation where I could just do things without consequences, because going into the battles, I mean, it's low risk because I have a lot of buffs, but it's still risky. And Kirby and the Forgotten Land has this where there's a room where you can try on like the powers
and like fight the dummy,
and you can just kind of like do whatever you want, and there's no risk to you. So anyway, that's my discussion.
Okay. So I have a question for you. Has there ever been a game where you have put down for a long time and like you weren't able to pick it back up? Like it was difficult for you, or maybe like you could pick it back up, but it was difficult and it was a much longer, harder process than it was when you picked up Tears of the Kingdom.
That's a good question. Mechanically, actually, I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Frogger came right back to me.
Yeah, when you picked up Frogger.
Yeah, and Frogger, he's back, which is not original Frogger, okay? It's fancier.
It's for PS1. Well, it was on PC era.
Anyway,
well, PC as well, but the
that's a
Arrow
whole,
was PS1.
that game is a whole. We should honk and bonk that game. That's a good game.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, this is boring, but I'm really just trying to think like. But I don't think there's a ton of examples where I did this anyway, like where I just like left a game for so long. I think. Oh, you know what? Here's a good coffee talk.
Okay.
Coffee talk was really hard to get back into because you're expected to memorize certain things, like drinks that different people like.
Oh.
And there's no like notes or anything. So if I took too long in between playing that, I would forget how to make drinks.
Okay.
Which is not really a mechanical thing, but it is like a game thing, I think.
Right. Oh no. That's yeah. When the game is expecting you to have like a memory based thing.
And I think that's the same with Oxenfree because that game's designed to be played multiple times through a time loop.
Yeah.
But I
forget
the time. I forget the choices I made before, which I think are crucial to playing the second round because you're supposed to. I was looking stuff up about it because I was like, I don't know, like if you play it through three times differently, you like actually get endings, and there's like multiple different endings you can get, and like all this stuff. But like I keep making the same choices because I can't remember what I did before. Because I take too long in between playing like each loop. So
yeah, I think for the most part, games, because a huge part of games is repetition, and what's the best way to like muscle to get memory. Repeating the same thing over and over again. Like it is inherently like a grind to get anywhere in, like we don't consider it a grind because it's fun and it's like the core gameplay loop. But like in Tears of the Kingdom, like you have to perform the attack action against enemies hundreds of times in like even 1 hour of gameplay. So like, yeah, when you pick it up again, you're naturally going to have some level of muscle memory. Like, oh, this is how I attack. This is how I dodge. Like, I have done this.
I didn't remember how to dodge because I think I've only dodged twice in my life.
Oh, my God. Okay, see, there it is. So, like, the things that you naturally do more. So, I guess the more a game encourages you to do the same thing repeatedly, the more likely you are to, like, be able to pick it up with minimal effort again if you take a long break. I'm trying to think of any examples where I've like restarted a game if I have gone a long time without playing it, but like yeah, for the most part
I thought about restarting Tears of the Kingdom for a second.
No.
I know, but not because of forgetting. I just thought it'd be fun.
It probably would be fun,
but
yeah.
I should beat the game at least once before I do that.
Yeah. And when you beat the game, you might be able to... No, I don't think it has a new game plus.
No, I don't think so.
But yeah, I think like you just gave a good example. Dodge, you barely ever used in the first place. So you did not pick up again how to do it.
I also can't remember how to use this shield. I haven't been able to do that yet.
Isn't that just one of the shoulder buttons?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Have you just not experimented with using the various...
No, because I'm in a battle and I try to use it and then I mess up, but it's going too fast. and then I forget that I need to try it.
Okay, this is where you need a battle room.
Right, yes.
This is where you need a practice room.
Which, I mean, they like I guess what I could do is I could go back to like the beginning shrines that like practice battle techniques.
Yes, that's one thing to do.
I could actually do that.
I also think that there is like an encyclopedia. If you like pause the game, can go to the...
I know it's there, so this is on me, but I know they have like a control listing and things like that in there. I've seen it. I just could not find it, but I also didn't try that hard. But I know it's there.
I think games that have more nuance, like more memory-based things, like, okay, if I haven't played No Man's Sky in a while. If I open it up again, I know generally, like, okay, this is how I move. I need these resources. These are some things that give me those resources. But, like, I don't think I could ever tell you any recipes. I couldn't tell you, like, what I was actively doing.
I will also say, I think this is a little relevant. Or did you have more to say?
Sorry. If I did have more to say, that me doesn't exist anymore.
I'm sorry.
So.
Okay. No, I was thinking, like, another thing I had trouble with was Sims 4. Because the controls are slightly different than Sims 2, which is what I knew, but like not that different.
Oh, you had played more hours of Sims 2, so
and they just changed it like ever so slightly. So it's like I expect it to do one thing and it won't do that thing, and so there is that too.
Yep.
Which is kind of I remember Tears of the Kingdom having this, and people talked about this, where you got really used to in Breath of the Wild being able to use your glider, like jump and activate your glider, and then you don't get a glider for a super long time in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
So you just keep wanting to, like, I just kept wanting to use it and like preparing as if I was going to use it and then being like, nope.
Yeah, I think like picking up Tears of the Kingdom, I think that here's something that helps with Tears of the Kingdom specifically. I don't think that there is a wide array of different things that you can do to keep track of. Because I was gonna say,
yeah, that's true.
Like I was like thinking of some more subtle things, like how the weapon system works. No, I fully understand that, and it popped back to me instantly. Like with how like if a rusty weapon breaks and you go under the surface, like you'll find a perfect version of it.
I was kind of nervous about building. Like fusing.
Yeah, that's all. I was also thinking about that, and I was like, no, I mean that's all pretty really intuitive as well. So Tears of the Kingdom is a very well designed game. Is ultimately what we're saying.
Yeah.
Most games are well designed. I cannot think of like a game where like the controls are difficult. Like Monster Hunter, Dark Souls, Elden Ring, like those kinds of games are, I think, difficult. Not really difficult to get back into, but they would be more difficult to pick up because so much of the gameplay is tied up into some fairly subtle things in the actual gameplay itself, like frame-based weapon attacks. Like getting used to, again, like in Monster Hunter, every hammer swing has like a set amount of time that it takes, and there are only specific points in that swing that you can like break out of it. So I could see someone not playing it for 8 months and then coming back and be like, all right, I'm hammer swinging. Oh, no, I need to dodge away, and like miss that point in the hammer swing where they can dodge.
Well, yeah.
And then they get attacked. And
that happened to me to an extent playing Kirby and the Forgotten Land on the stream that we played. Yeah. Because it'd been a while since I'd played it. And so I was kind of de-rusting a bit. And yeah, it's like I remembered all the controls, but it was more like the timing of things and like how long things take. I think that does take longer to come back. But I think, I don't know, my summary of this is also that the human brain and body is pretty cool. Yeah, like the fact that because I repeated this action so many times, I mean, I was kind of shocked. It felt like my hands were just doing, like my brain would think I need to like switch weapons and it would just happen. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't have to think like, oh, okay, I have to press this and then press this. Like it just already knew, even though I haven't played this game in 6 months. Yep. And that's cool.
So the takeaways from this discussion for game designers out there, when you're designing your control schemes to make it so that people can easily come back to it, and I mean this just helps in general, repeat the important stuff.
Yep, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, if you have something that only happens like once in a blue moon in the game and you have like controls for it, like people are not going to remember that. You need some way to like jog their memory of that. I mean, technically, you're supposed to dodge a lot more than Claire does in Tears of the Kingdom, so that's on her.
You're supposed to dodge a lot more in any game than I do. I never dodge.
But yeah, the game definitely gives you the opportunities to. So like the average person would probably remember dodging, but if you've got a special button that you need to do to like pick up crystal skulls that only drop from rare enemies or something, either think if you really need a control for that, or
rethink that, because that's a weird choice.
Or have it pop up on screen like this is the button you press to do this. Like if it's something that rarely happens, it's like super context sensitive, like it's okay to break the immersion and have pop-ups come up on screen and explain what to do, because if the person hasn't played in 6-8 months, they might not remember, oh, left shoulder plus X button is how I do this. So yeah, repetition of things, and if it's not something that repeats often, like use tooltips, use reminders.
Yeah. Well, and also I would say logs are pretty cool. We've talked about these before, but like the adventure log in Tears of the Kingdom, so I can look back and see like what I've completed and what quests I'm still working on.
Oh, I wouldn't think that's like, I'm thinking more of like purely like from a control standpoint, rather than like how to pick up a game 6 months later.
We were talking about things like memory though, like Oxenfree and
that's true. Well, yeah, that's harder. Like
I know, but if Oxenfree had a log, it'd be fine. I just read it and then I'd make different choices.
That's actually true.
So
yeah, you could have I
consider
wonder if
having
Oxenfree 2
a log.
has that.
Oh yeah, I have to play Oxenfree 2.
But yeah, like number two on my list here, repetition, and then this actually goes into the if you have a very rare control thing, smaller library of things that need controls, like if there is a limited subset, it is a lot easier to remember. It's a lot easier to remember 6 things than it is 24 things, right? So like if you limit it, like even if it means like breaking, I don't know, the immersion of the game, like, oh, you can't interact with rocks in a very different thing, like interacting with a rock is the same way as you interact with a sword or something. That's probably fine 99% of the time, unless you have a very specific game going for you.
Yeah.
So instead of having rock controls and sword controls, if you just have item controls, you make that library smaller, people are going to pick up your controls better, and they're going to come back to your controls better. And
Yeah.
That's good. So I'm gonna give up on trying to recap some key points now, because my brain is completely blanked on it.
It's okay. It's a great time for your brain to be blank, because it's time for the rapid fire round. And that's where we generate 3 random words. We come up with a game idea and name based on those 3 words, and we only have 5 minutes to do so, and we are going to do this 3 whole times in this podcast. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay. I'm starting. It started.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
The 3 words
go.
are treasure, troop, TROOP, like a troop of soldiers, and house.
Okay. So, real-time strategy game.
Okay.
Where you play.
I don't know. I still don't fully get one.
Real-time strategy game. So you build a base, you have an army,
Okay.
you wield them against the enemy.
Age of Empires.
Age of Empires,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
And
Continue.
so,
Continue.
like, the house, it represents the building aspect. You
Got
have
it.
to build buildings to manage your population, and have buildings to train units, and the units are your troops. And the treasure aspect is every map has one or more buried treasures that if you are the first to secure it, it gives you a big boost for your side and probably wins you the game a lot of the time. So
does this only be multiplayer, or would you have like...
No, you could have a single player mode, and it could also be skirmish against computer controlled opponents, which one could argue is still multiplayer, even if it is technically a single player. If the computer takes the role of an opponent, that is a very blurry line though. But yeah, and I think the key point here is that you are trying, like, your goals on the map are the normal RTS goals of, building up your base, sending troops against the enemy, and like managing multiple front lines, and all that stuff that entails. But also you're trying to secure and unbury a hidden treasure on the map, which adds an interesting extra layer of things for you to do, more than the average real-time strategy game.
I think also because it says house specifically, it should be like a house. Like the base looks like a house.
Oh, most RTSs have like some kind of like population building.
Yeah, but I think it'd be funny if like the base, like the main thing is a house.
Okay. Yeah.
Like it wouldn't look like a fort or a tower. It'd just be a house.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. In Age of Empires, you build like 100 houses. It's great.
But like that's not your base though, right?
What's your definition of your base?
Like the main house.
So
like
okay,
like a castle.
In Age of Empires, like you start with a town center, and that's where you train villagers, and then villagers build houses.
Yeah. So like the town center would be a house, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. I think
every building in this game is a house.
I also think that the this makes less sense with the house theme. But I was gonna say, since it's about buried treasure and stuff, that it's multiple pirate factions, and all of the maps, or most of the maps, are island based.
I mean, pirate troops. Is that anything?
In what sense?
Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, troops is just a generic word for like combat unit in this sense. Like you're sending troops into the enemy base. Like, yeah, it works. Trust me.
I trust you.
Yeah. Plus pirates, privateers, privateers could be described as troops.
Anyway, what are we going to call our RTS?
Yeah, what are we going to call our real-time strategy game?
What if it's called
Blackbeard's Gold?
Regular Treasure Station.
Because RTS?
Yeah, Regal Treasure.
Regular Treasure Seekers. No.
Regular Treasure Suburbs.
Wait, Real-time Treasure Seekers.
Okay, I like that.
All right, with 1 minute left. I do like the suburbs idea if we were going more with like the house theme.
I mean, I was trying to push the house theme a little bit, but
yeah.
All right, are you
I didn't want the house.
No, I know, because you're just...
I wanted pirates.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. All right. Well,
I'm starting in 3, 2, 1. I started.
Hole.
Foods.
HOLE.
Oh, just no W.
No
okay.
W. Rob. ROB. Soft.
Hole rob soft.
My first thought was someone like digging a hole in order to rob something and they have to jump down to a soft landing. But that's like one action.
Yeah.
But can we dig that out to anything?
Wow. Making puns over here. All right.
Look, I'm eepy. I don't know why.
You're
eepy?
Like, eepy sleepy?
I'm eepy sleepy.
Wow. Okay.
So that's when I get the
you
silliest.
are looking for a soft bed.
Yeah, it's a Goldilocks game.
Okay. No.
What if you're a robber but you're very sleepy, and so you drill holes in people's houses to crawl through.
Okay.
And then you're robbing the house, but you have like a sleep meter, and if you get too sleepy, you get into a soft bed. Like the closer you are to a soft bed, the harder it is to rob.
Okay, they have like a gravitational force.
That's
like
pulling
the beds
them towards
are
the
pulling you in. Okay. Wait, I actually like this whole idea. If like you've got a floor plan, you're going through the house. Mm-hmm. And your like special power is that you can put holes in walls and stuff. So that's like how you can navigate from room to room.
Like a magic hole, right? Isn't that a power in D&D? Yeah.
In like Dungeons and Dragons. So like, I like it. It's a portable hole. Mm-hmm. So you only can make one hole at once, but you have to figure out different ways to navigate this. And like some doors are locked. You have to get to like it's like navigating a Zelda dungeon, mm-hmm. but a key component is that you have this magical hole to use. I like that because it gives you like this interesting puzzle to solve, because like you might walk into a room and like you're looking at it from above view. So I'm imagining like a Link's Awakening style game. You look at it from an above view and you're like, oh, I'm completely blocked off from like that side of the room, so I can't progress any further. Like it's got like a pit that I can't cross, but then if I go down and to the left, like I can put a hole in that wall and it gets me to that other side mm-hmm. of the pit where I can get like the treasure chest that has the key, which allows me to open this door in another area. Not 100% certain why you would need to have keys to open doors if you have the portable hole, now that I'm thinking about it.
Let's take the key part away, but let's keep you're robbing the house, you're using the hole, and the reason the navigation is tricky is because you have to stay as far away from the bedroom as possible.
Okay,
but think
there's like a lot of beds.
Yes. Well, I also think there should be like some good loot near the beds. So as you get better at the game, you can like quicker to like throw your hole, I guess, faster, like move it around, and so like
you're better at the movement.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, what are we gonna call it?
Eepy Sleepy Bandit. Eepy Sleepy Bandit. Bambit.
We could call it Nap. Robin Nap.
Robber Baron Nap. No.
Robber Bedin. Like a robber baron. But in bed.
Okay.
Honk Shoe. We already have a game named Honk Shoe. Hilariously
Do we?
enough.
Oh, geez. Okay.
I'm pretty sure, because that's why we made the silly, goofy thumbnail back when we made YouTube videos.
Oh, yeah, where we were eeping in bed. Uh-huh. I can't say the word sleep anymore.
No, we're ruined. The internet ruined us.
Wow. All right. Robbery at the house on the hill.
No. It's got to have something to do with the sleep part, because that's the funny mechanic. It could be like dreams.
Enter Sandman. the Metallica song, but we made a game, so that's a different trademark.
That's true. That is true. Robber in the streets, sleepy in the sheets.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna go with it.
Okay.
We've got 26 seconds left.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with that just because it's a silly, goofy name that I like.
Okay.
So yeah. We've got one more.
We've got one more.
Okay, let's in a 3, in a 2, in a 1. Let's go.
Cancer. Pressure. Revenge.
Okay.
Let's go astrology just to keep the mood light.
I was gonna go for the sea animal or like a crab.
Yeah.
Because pressure is water.
Under the sea. Okay, sure. Yeah, that works too. That works too.
So this is a crab revenge game.
Yeah.
I'm thinking third-person cover-based shooter.
What's cover-based?
Cover-based shooter. It's a genre that was popularized by like Gears of War, where you as the player and like your enemies, like your goal is to identify areas of cover and like bunker down in it, and like you pop up and like shoot at people who are also in cover. And the game is about wisely utilizing like the different cover points that you have. So the cover provides protection for you because an enemy can't shoot through a wall, and then like timing like when it's safe to like poke your head out and take shots at your enemy, and like doing suppressing fire and stuff is important.
Okay.
So this is about navigating like coral beds and stuff, and you are a crab with a gun.
And you're like, I mean, obviously you're seeking revenge, so maybe you have like a hit list of all the crabs that have wronged you or undersea creatures.
I'm thinking that like, a different kind of creature.
Yeah. And I think they should be like I think the game itself will be kind of serious looking, except obviously it's a crab.
Very gritty.
Right.
No cartoons at all.
But then
gritty,
the situations will be funny. Like it'll be this swordfish stole my like tiny scrap of plankton one time, so I'm gonna go destroy him.
And there is a mechanic where certain enemies like snails and stuff, you can destroy them, but if you don't shoot their shell specifically, like if you get a headshot on them, you can then, even though you're not necessarily a hermit crab, you can use their shell as armor until that takes enough damage itself to like get fallen off.
All right, I want to spend some time naming this game because I think we can really.
Okay.
How much time do we have?
2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Okay, that's all right. Because I think it's got to have a good name in there, right? Like Crab Revenge.
Woke up Crabby.
Woke up Crabby. I think Crabby. I'm not sure about woke up.
Okay.
But I think Crabby you got something there.
All right.
Feeling crabby.
Feeling crabby. All right.
But that's not quite. It's not the gritty name.
No.
Which is also why the woke up is kind of.
That's true. I think woke up crabby. I could see a noir detective movie called Woke Up Crabby. I could see it. Maybe not everyone can. Well, I personally can.
Let's put that in the back pocket.
Yeah,
if it
back
becomes
pocket.
like 20 seconds, that's going to be the one because I like it. But I just try and get something a little.
All right.
Maybe that is it. Maybe we hit it. I can't.
Death of a crab.
Like Death of a Salesman?
Yeah.
No.
Wait, isn't there like a famous movie with like funeral in the name?
4 Weddings and a Funeral?
Four crabs and a funeral. Okay, no, that's not working.
I think we're gonna just call it Woke Up Crabby.
Are you sure? Because I do think that there is more.
All right.
Like, let's think of some like mobster. Okay, what's the famous revenge movie? Isn't Jodie Foster like the star of a series of revenge movies?
Oh well, there's Kill Bill.
Okay, Kill
That's
Bill.
That's like the super well known.
Wait, Krill Bill? I mean, he's not a krill, but like maybe the enemy is a krill. Maybe the final boss is a krill.
It's also funny because krills that's like hilarious because krills are
they're so small.
But I guess they could be a swarm, which is pretty.
Oh yeah, a swarm of krill.
I think Krill Bill and is really funny.
Okay, krill. Let's go with Krill Bill. 25 seconds left on the clock.
Maybe it's Krill. I mean, that we already won that one, so but like it could be Krill Bill semicolon woke up Crabby.
We love a semicolon.
We love a
is what we do.
semicolon. All right.
Krill Bill woke up Crabby.
Cool.
Yes.
So that is the end of our podcast show. Not the end of the podcast itself. That's why I said show, because it made it more clear, not more confusing. But if you do want to follow us, you can find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/makethatgame. We are going to be live on Saturday the 25th, probably at 2 p.m. Eastern, but keep checking back. We'll post about it. And aren't we streaming a crab game?
Another Crab's Treasure is the plan right now.
Yeah, which is kind of similar to Krill Bill, isn't it?
Yes, I was specifically trying to diverge as much. I was going to throw in a joke about it, like explicitly, but like, yeah, I was trying to divert because that's why I said third person based, cover based shooter instead of, because that's a Souls-like.
Okay, right. So yeah, we're going to be playing.
I came up with a different genre,
which is, I think is good. But yeah, so we are going to be playing a Crab Souls-like. Sounds amazing. Well, that's the plan so far.
Yeah.
I don't think we have the game yet, so who knows?
It was requested by a listener as well.
Well, yeah, which we want to show that we listen to the listener.
We listen
you
to
listen
the
to us, we listen to you back. And so if you want to tell us things, you can do so at makethatgamepodcast@gmail.com. You can also DM us on Instagram at makethatgamepod, and you can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/@makethatgame. And we post replays of our lives there. And then we will be doing, I'm setting the stage now. We will be streaming the Party Bus again for SGDQ Summer Games Done Quick.
Okay. July
the stream will be in June because it starts on June 30th.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which is where we do an hour-long stream before it starts, and then the Party Bus part is we take the Twitch viewers and we raid.
Yeah, we bring you to SGDQ.
The Games Done Quick stream, and that's why it's the Party Bus. And I really liked doing it. We did it 2 years ago, and I want to do it again. Yeah. So that's all the announcements. But the final announcement, as always, is that if you heard a game today that you need to play it, we encourage you to get out there and make that game.